So I watched the Ready to Rumble like a week ago.
The
That movie.
the movie?
The movie, yeah.
Okay.
Like with Dave Arquette.
I will
That
rule
movie,
you. I say that all the time. I love that movie. It's so bad.
that movie should be like and I know it is, but it's more of like a cult classic from like if you were from that time. But that should be like a wrestling cult classic. It just gets passed
100%.
down. People should watch it. You can catch John Cena like working out in one scene, like where that Booker
I haven't watched
T's
that movie in a
in.
while. Yeah.
I mean, that movie was so ridiculous, but so hilarious. Like back then, you were able to make those bad movies, right?
I love it. I will rule you. I say that to everybody all the time.
Bro, the fact that like his catchphrase was basically singing a Run DMC song I was like, what? This is amazing. I'm the king of rock.
I also really like Scott Conn in that movie, right? That's Scott Conn, right?
Oh yeah.
I fucking love Scott Conn.
Scott Conn's great in that one.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I'm ready. Sorry. Let me stop filing my nail. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not just smart, they heal more. They're not just smart, they heal more. They're not just smart, they heal more. They're not just smart, they heal more.
Ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends, we are back once again. I am the custodian of charisma. I am the ophthalmologist of optimism. With me, as always, she is the sultan of sarcasm. She is the sorceress of sass. I am the ghost. She is the coat. I am Brady. She is Danielle. Together, we are the best friends in all the land. Together, we are the heel marks. And this is Mark of Honor, everybody's favorite Ring of Honor post show. You guys watch Supercard of Honor right at the beginning of the weekend. Now you're joining us here for Ring of Honor. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. We want to thank everyone for tuning in, whether you're tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, however it is. If there's a like button, go ahead, bash that thing, please. And thank you. Did you see that comment section? Join it. Throw those comments in there. Join the conversation. Go ahead. Do not forget to support bodyslam.net, the whole network, by going over to salamchats.com. Support the network. And once again, we want to hear from you guys. You guys watched a pay-per-view event. I guess, is it a PLE? Because it's streaming on Watch ROH?
Yes, I guess it's a PLE. I don't like saying PLE. I think it's
also like pay-per-view. Yeah, I think it's a pay-per-view. This one's pay-per-view. But Supercard of Honor, big ROH show. They got big shoes to fill. We talk about it all the time because of the legacy that the OG ROH, the original Ring of Honor, gave. And so it's like when they use the same pay-per-view names, it is kind of like big shoes to fill. We do kind of, you have to kind of compare them.
It's the Mania weekend big show.
Right.
It's like It's one of their biggest shows of the year. One. Yeah. This and Final Battle are usually the big ones.
I mean, what you think about this one? What do you like? What do you think was the match of the night for you?
You're asking me that already?
I mean, it's a fun way to start.
Stardom. The Stardom Showcase, hands down, was my favorite match. And I thought it was the match of the night. Which is kind of sad considering it's not ROH people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would want ROH stars to be it, but it doesn't take away from anything.
Well, I'm curious as to what AEW and ROH relationship really is with Stardom and with these companies. I mean, is it a thing where they kind of are just doing a trade-off here and there? Or is it a thing of similar to where an ROH wrestler can work indie events? Are these girls able to just kind of come on to the roster for the next 3 to 6 months or something like that? So I'm curious as to, and we saw, Mina Shirakawa with Mariah May in a segment that they showed tonight, because Mariah May was on 0 Hour, got a win as well. And so Mariah May's talking about everything with Toni Storm, but then Mina comes in, gives her another smoocheroo, they drink. And so now we're seeing this storyline advance, and it's happening on ROH television. Now, this is something where Mariah May's mostly seen on AEW. Her storyline with Tony is mostly AEW. So this could have easily been more of an AEW thing, but here it is. We're getting some ROH time for it. So I'm hoping that these women do give us a month and we do consider these women more ROH women, quote unquote.
I hope so. This was fantastic. I love Stardom as is, and I thought this match was... It looked like a choreographed dance. They were just dancing, and it was beautiful. It was hard hitting. I love how like powerful they are when they're hitting each other, and they're just like screaming, and they're just. It was just such a good match. It was fast paced. It was, there was technical work, there was high flying, there was everything you want in a match was in this match, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I loved that it was a thing where you had like 2 different tag teams as members of these trios tag teams. So it's kind of like you're showing us all these different talents, it's a trios match. So you're watching them all do their own thing, but at the same time, you're getting a little preview of Stardom's tag team division as well. Yeah. So I did love it as they gave it the name Stardom Showcase. And I do think they lived up to that name in terms of the way 100%, they showcased themselves.
100% my match of the night.
Yeah, no, it was a good one. It was a fun one. And I kind of mentioned it when talking about what they showed tonight, but Mina Shirakawa is a star.
Oh my God.
Such a star. Like, once again, I don't know the relationship. I don't with Stardom and AEW and ROH. I don't know her contract situation, but if there's a way for anyone to get their hands on her in terms of like actually making her, sign that contract and be an AEW ROH full-on talent, I mean, that's a big get.
Please and thank you.
Obviously, a lot of the signings of the past few months have been getting more hype, but that one's going to be like at the end of the year, we'd be talking about that as one of the better signings and one of the
definitely
better gets for any company in the U.S.
What a great match.
She has it all.
Yeah, her and everybody in this match. It just had everything that you want. Storytelling, the taunting of the crowd, the hyping the crowd up, like everything, like professionals. And it delivered.
And I feel like a lot of times when we get the Stardom talent coming on over to ROH to AEW, and they kind of just give us the experience of them by giving us matches with people you may not have heard before, I feel like oftentimes you fall in love with the women for their in-ring work first, and then you either have to like maybe look them up to kind of learn more about them. With her, we're getting it all at the same time. We've got character work immediately from the second her music hit, the second she made her entrance, and now just in a 20-second backstage segment with Mariah May, we're learning more about her. We're getting more and more, and I can't tell you how much more I want. I want to see her every time I can. Like the sky is the limit with what she can accomplish. And there's so many different women's divisions she can be placed in right now. She could
anywhere
challenge Athena, and I'd be game. She could have challenged our new TV champion, and let's get into it, Billy Starks, and I'd be so game. Billy Starks defeating Queen Aminata. I give you credit, Danielle, because while I was forced to change my pick throughout the tournament, thus giving me a win here, you picked yours before the tournament began, like when they
before it even began.
Like as soon as she was announced to be in it, you're like, that's my pick. You stuck with it the whole way, and it took you to the finals. Billy Starks did not do it without a bit of chicanery, a bit of hinkle finkles going on here. Definitely a flim flam or two, as she fakes a neck injury. I believe they threw up the X, right?
I don't remember them throwing up the X. I don't think
I thought I did remember it because I remember thinking that I hated it.
Or
I don't know. Maybe I'm making it up.
Because I remember you texting me and asking me, and I don't remember if they actually threw up the X. I might have been distracted at that point. If they did, I didn't see it. But I was like, I don't know if
they may as well have, though, because they were really trying to fool the audience as well as Queen Aminata.
I wasn't a big fan of this. I didn't like.
Well, I know you don't like these things like that. You don't like the
I felt like there could have been a different way of her getting the sneak cheat win. I thought this one was a little cheesy because I feel like stuff like this slows down the momentum of a match. And like there's the pause and it's like weird. And then like
the fact that the finish went like right after it. It was like
and like Queen Amanada has to do this like weird acting bit because now she has to fake like not saying she's a bad actress or anything, but now you have to like fake emotion of being like, oh my God, Billy Starkz is hurt. And it's not like
right.
And you're trying to convince people that it's real and it's like awkward. And then like that finish happened so fast that it was just weird. Like I wasn't a big fan of this. I'll say this about the finish.
It's exactly what like from when they went into it and when it was happening. Her making the turn, her kicking Amanada, grabbing her for the German suplex, and then throwing her into that sleeper that she can get out of. That was exactly what the crowd wanted in that moment. The crowd was great for that moment. So while I did agree with you, I do hate that just because like with wrestling, I mean, we've seen people slide out of the ring and get hurt. We've seen people like duck,
stretch their arm. And
Sami Zayn hyped up the crowd and fucked his shoulder up. Like
it's so funny you talk about that because WrestleMania weekend when Kevin Owens like slapped his chest and he walked, I was like, please don't stretch your arm, Sammy. Please do not hurt yourself while you're walking to the ring. That's all I kept thinking.
Right?
So, so we've seen people hurt each other.
I mean, Goldberg gave himself a concussion, fucking headbutting a door.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like injuries do happen in this business, and it's not like it's always just going to be, you know, I landed wrong, this or that. Sometimes it's literally just you take a wrong step, boom, there went my ankle. Look at Vince McMahon trying to get in the ring, blew both of his quads. So because of the fact that literally injuries happen all willy-nilly, I do always, as a rule, hate this type of thing. And I do hope that they didn't put the X up though, because if they didn't put the X up, the truth is your ROH average viewer is smart enough to know kind of, listen, if they're not throwing up that X, this is storyline. Right. Because I actually missed the initial of this also. I turned around and then I texted you. I remember saying like, I'm just seeing this now. Is this legit what happened?
Right.
And you're like,
and
no,
I was like, I'm not sure. And then I was like going on Twitter to see. I missed if there was an X, I missed it. But also, I don't think you should be playing with that X because I feel like
here's what I will say about this though. And once again, like as a rule, I hate that they do this. And you were saying there's other sneaky wins she could have done. With that said, Billy Starkz was in this very strange place ever since they had her feud with Athena, where she was kind of this lovable, plucky baby face and. As much as her and Athena and Lexi as well are doing a great job as their stable, it did almost, especially last week, it felt like there was a slight disconnect with Billy kind of antagonizing Athena a little bit. And, you know, you kind of wondering, are they going to split? This, for me, was like their way of saying, absolutely not. Like, this is a turning page for Billy Starkz. We're now seeing a crazy... almost, and I know it's cliche to compare it to her, but it's a Harley. It did remind me a bit of Harley Quinn sometimes, where you just the way she looked so happy to do it, like, you know, she just loved to watch the world burn. The chaos made her excited.
Right. The initial thing of the neck injury, I did not like. After her talking to her mother and Athena, you know, congratulating her, that I liked. That's okay because it shows that Billy really has turned to the dark side, you know, and has really just lost her fucking mind and is like, I'm not a baby face anymore.
I have mixed feelings about the fact that so a lot of the footage that they showed tonight, you and I, we had already seen because they either tweeted it or it was on YouTube. This was all stuff that happened already on Friday. So we had seen it. So on one hand, I kind of was hoping for some new advancements in these storylines. With that said, I am actually happy they showed this most of the footage that they showed tonight to the crowd that tuned in tonight, only because you know, they're at least making sure everyone sees stuff like this. And so the segment that you just referenced backstage where Billy Starkz sees her parents and her mom is just not happy at all.
Is that her dad?
I assume so. I believe so.
Okay.
I did not look it up.
Yeah, I don't
but that was she did say that was her family. So I assume
that
was either, if not a father, friend, whatever. But I believe so. And so she was like, listen, that is not how we raised you. This is Ring of Honor. This is a place of honor. You was out there cussing, acting all crazy.
I love when people say cuss. It's always my favorite thing when people say cuss. Yeah, you cussing.
Actually, no. If someone says don't cuss, I don't like it. That just sounds weird. But cussing, I'm always a fan.
Cussing.
You cussing in my house?
I love that, because then like Athena kind of just went in, and Athena's like, I'm your new mom now. And I thought that was great.
Yeah, no, that was so perfect. Because literally, like, and the camera work was just, it's always very basic backstage with ROH, but this was just perfect because you just see it, all of a sudden it turns, and Athena's waiting with the hug. They hype each other up. Athena sneaks in the line. I don't know if you caught it. She's like, you're second best.
Yep. No, I heard it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, and I'm your new mom. And then I didn't actually catch this until like, today when I watched it the second time on the show. So another reason I'm glad they're showing us these replays. In like Community, one thing I always loved about Donald Glover was like the improvs he would throw in at like the very end, right before something goes off. So as she's saying it, I'm your new mom, Billy Starks was out a quick like just a very quick like and as she's getting dragged away. And I didn't catch it the first time. The second time, it's even funnier.
That's super funny.
And so like I'm excited to see. So as much as I agree with you, the TV title tournament was so big, it was history making, and Supercard of Honor is known for its classics. So the fact that they chose to really have them have a match, but then basically as soon as they're like, let's take it home, it's 3 minutes of, oh my God, what's happening? And then it's 30 seconds of, holy crap, she just did it. So it was I guess I can see you saying it was a letdown. I get that. But in terms of storytelling and in terms of establishing the minions with all the gold and establishing Billy Starks as now just a crazy, who knows what she's going to do next type of heel character. I'm excited to see what the future is for them. I'm excited to see if Queen Aminata sticks around and maybe wants to fight and get another shot at her belt. Maybe she should be very pissed off considering that Billy really tugged at her heartstrings and then choked her out.
Yeah.
Choked her right out.
Yeah, choked her out. I was very upset by that. I was like, no, I don't want you to win this way. Oh, man, here we go.
The Undisputed Kingdom, they defeated the Infantry at Supercard of Honor, but not without a little bit of help from Big Man Wardlow. We did see backstage footage from both teams today, but you got something in the chamber. So before we talk about what we saw today, let's talk about that. Danielle, what's up? You got things to say.
But first of all, we'll get into the ROH Supercard match. But what's his face?
Oh, okay.
No.
So you want to talk about what happened tonight first?
No. But him just calling Wardlow Vanilla Gorilla made me laugh so much. He's like, nobody saw Vanilla Gorilla coming in. I was dying. I was hysterical. Okay, so I enjoyed.
What's match. Funny? I'm almost positive that when John Cena was rapping about Brock Lesnar back in the day, like when in that first feud, he called in one of his raps, he called Brock the Vanilla Gorilla.
John Cena is not allowed to call anybody gorilla because he looks like a shaved gorilla. Like he looks like if a gorilla had no hair, he looks exactly like one.
He said the Vanilla Gorilla turning beet red.
Oh man, that's exciting. So anyway, commentary stated, let me make sure I get this right.
Okay.
This is the battle that's been brewing. What battle? When did Infantry and Undisputed have a feud? There was no feud.
Last week.
All we
last
do
week.
is complain about how they don't build feuds and storytelling, and you have the nerve to tell me this was a battle brewing? When? When was there a battle brewing?
The day before. The day before. This pay-per-view took place on Friday. The day before. They've been feuding for 24 hours, and it hit a boiling point.
It probably tasted like shit then, because 24 hours of brewing is bullshit. I was like, what is this? I was so annoyed by this statement, because I was like, don't say that. I was like, no, absolutely not. I was very annoyed by this statement. I was like, stop that right now. I did appreciate all of the infantry's glitter. I'm a big fan of glitter, and I was very excited. But his whole body was covered in glitter. Everybody had glitter. Him and the Young Guns too. The Young Guns, you hear me? The Guns too. They had glitter. Everybody was covered in glitter. All right, I'm done. I'm done ranting my negativity about this stupid match.
That is hilarious. With the match, as far as the match is concerned, I thought it was great. I thought it was a good one. I thought the infantry 100% looked like they belonged, as they should. I spoke, the night before about how I didn't really like the fact that they would have to be in a proving ground match, because every week commentary talks about how much they've been proving themselves. We'd seen them win main events and stuff like that, but at the same time I was going to forgive it, because I'm like, okay, they just want to give us the rematch at the pay-per-view, fine. With Wardlow getting involved and being the cause for us not to have new tag team champions, I think, I'd like to see this actual feud become a feud. We did see both teams in backstage segments tonight, both kind of talking about it. The Undisputed Kingdom more talk about how they did win it all on their own. But then, of course, saying, with the big man behind us, who's stopping us? I have a question about the big man behind him. Does Wardlow, and I know it's kind of what he always did, he did it back when he was with the Pinnacle too. But does Wardlow, did he look extra annoyed to you when they were talking, or is that just his face?
He always looks annoyed. I think he just has resting bitch. I think he has resting bitch face.
But when he was with the Pinnacle, right, and MJF would always say things, and Wardlow would always do those looks, it was always his thing, and it was we always knew, it's okay, that's his Batista, eventually he's gonna turn. He's still heel, he's still doing this, he's still doing that, but eventually he's gonna hit the switch. And so it's and I've kind of gotten that vibe again ever since they put him in Undisputed Kingdom, where I'm just kind of the second Adam Cole was he's going to win the title, and then he's going to give it to me. And all of a sudden, Wardlow starts doing the faces again. I'm like, is this Pinnacle 2.0? Am I getting, they just reset Wardlow back to the old thing? So I'm trying to figure out if that's just how he's playing this silent muscle role again, or if we're supposed to expect that turn happening sooner than later. Because when they were talking, it did kind of make me feel like he's ready to plant the knives in there.
I feel like that's just his face, to be honest.
Okay.
I think he just has RBF.
I think there's something to it. I definitely think maybe it's intentional a little bit.
I would also love it if it was just that's the face he has to make to prevent himself from laughing. And he doesn't realize it comes across that way.
Okay, so I don't know how many of our listeners will even know what I'm talking about, but I know you'll appreciate this. I remember one time on America's Best Dance Crew, there was this group. I think it was that group that looked she compared them to a boy band, and she said she was like, "You guys danced great, you did this, you did that, but hey, you in the front, you gotta fix your face because you be looking like this." And I always thought that was the silliest thing.
They gotta fix their face.
But yeah, Wardlow might have to fix his face.
You might be reading too into it, I think.
Maybe. I mean, once again, I do kind of feel like we are supposed to think he's going to turn on these guys, because they Adam Cole, like I said, saying that Wardlow's going to win the title and then just hand it to him. I think Wardlow was yeah, okay. And so I kind of think, they're using him and he's okay being used because he thinks the Undisputed Kingdom will at some point get him the title.
I would hope that he eventually gets the title. I mean, this guy's gotten title shots when he was at MJF. He was really people are behind Wardlow regardless of him being a heel or face. So I would hope this would eventually get him at least a title shot.
we're at the point where AEW's got one more true shot to actually make him what they were supposed to make him like a 1.5 years ago. And if after that they don't do it, they're probably spoiled him rotten, but not rotten enough where WWE couldn't snag him over and make him a star overnight.
Yeah. That's a very weird situation.
I mean, I don't know who's in his ear, but if he's got anyone in his ear, I hope they're at least telling him these things, because AEW botched him so bad. They had it in the palm of their hand,
and people were behind it. The fans were behind it. I hate
they did so much that they could have, and I know obviously everything that happened backstage was kind of like what forced it, but they could have made Wardlow champion and made MJF be the guy to take the title from him.
Yeah.
Especially Punk couldn't drop it to him. They could have had them do that. You could have had 3 months of Wardlow as babyface champ. Then all of a sudden MJF cheats, and boom, MJF still heel for the fucking century because he fucking broke that. And then that feud would have continued.
100%. They just botched it bad.
Bad botch. Speaking of a botch though, as I said, we see Undisputed Kingdom talk about it, but then the Infantry are talking about it. And I'm sorry, I hate repeating myself, but I hate that
you love repeating yourself.
Why is Trish Adora there if you're not going to use her?
She's just in the background.
Why is she with them for this interview if she's not with them for the match? Why isn't she for the match? Is my main complaint. I don't understand why she couldn't be there to help them. Also, or at the very least, just be there. Come out and then give them the pound and go to the back, because sometimes they want to do it on their own in championship matches. I get it.
Right.
But allow her to come out with them a little bit. If she's with them for this interview, let her say something. She just smiled the whole time. They both went back forth talk. I've never seen this much of just a lack of commitment to establishing a trio before.
100%.
This is months. This is months going on where every once in a while Trish Adora is with them doing nothing, saying nothing, and then they'll have a few matches without her, and then it's back, and it's I don't get it. You're not helping her at all, and you're not helping them. She can enhance the act.
What's the point when she comes out and next time she has a is she hurt? Next time she has a match, are they going to come out? You have to establish them as a stable, as a crew.
Well, that's another thing. They don't have them come out with her very often. She comes out with them every once in a while, but then they'll do matches and she's nowhere to be found. It's like they're not a trio. It's like they're just friends and they run into each other sometimes before interviews and they're just like, "Hey, why don't you hang out?" She's like, "Okay, I'll do it." You know what I mean?
I'm not a fan of it. I agree with you on that point 100%. It's stupid.
Carly Bravo, on the other hand, is so street, and I love it.
I had to look up where he was from.
He's from upstate New York, I think, right?
They bill him for Chicago.
Carly Bravo?
Yeah.
I looked it up, and it was definitely
the one that said Vanilla Gorilla. That's Kim, right? Oh, maybe it's the other one.
You might be thinking of Sean Dean.
Yeah, that's why I looked up.
Oh, wait a minute. I might have looked up the wrong person too, I guess, because Carly Bravo's from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, the way they were talking, I was like, these guys are from New York. They reminded me of New York so much that I was like, you have to be from New York. But alas, they're not.
Well, Carly's from ATL, so yeah. But he's just everything he was saying was just making me laugh. I've been a big fan of Carly for a while, I love him getting more mic time. I love that. Now they have another reason to challenge for the tag team titles sooner than later. Once again, man, I just think this trio can be a money act and can be beneficial for all of them. I say that somebody who's seen Trish Adora do different things in the wrestling world, so I want to see this trio succeed. I love it when wrestlers are added to an act and they enhance it, 100%. Such as with Jack Jameson. You know what I mean? He brought so much, he brings so much to them. And as a trio, they're better and more efficient than they were as a tag team. So I want to see her be able to do the same thing. We haven't gotten that opportunity just yet.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
You did mention the I think you called them the Young Guns, the gun club, Bullet Club Gold, the Bang Bang Gang, whatever you want to call them. They defeated the team of Monster Sauce, loving the name, and the legendary Minoru Suzuki. I popped so hard when his music hit.
I popped too, but I popped more for Lance Archer because we were like, who's coming out? And I'm like, Lance Archer and the Righteous. And then I was like, half right.
And then it was like Lance Archer and Alex Zane. Almost there.
I'm almost there. Yeah, this match was fun. I like this match a lot. Suzuki's so good. All of them.
Alex
Zane was a big surprise. Alex Zane was a really big surprise for me. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was happy to see him there. That was like a welcome surprise where I was like, okay. And because he's a perfect talent for them to actually use in Ring of Honor. Like Alex Zane would be a big one. And like they love doing those four-way matches, to like to end the show. Commander, we saw him win like 4 in a row at some point. Like Alex Zane would be a great addition to those kind of matches.
Oh yeah, we see Alex Zane a lot in like the GCW shows when they have 4-way matches. Yeah. GC, what did I say? JCW?
No. I wasn't correcting you. I was.
GCW. We see
said
him.
It right.
Oh, I did. I was like, oh no, what did I say?
We probably see him at JCW also. All the CWs. He's at.
Yeah, all the CWs, but we usually see, except
Alex Zane and Blake Christian would make a nice, fun ROH no title involved feud if they gave that to us.
Sign that up.
That'd be sweet.
Yes, please, and thank you. Can we get on the writing staff of ROH? Because I feel like we would be so stellar on their writing.
I think we're needed, to be honest.
I think we're needed. I think they need a female aspect, which you can help with, and then they can help me. It's just because you fight so hard for Trisha Dora. I love it. I love you adore Trisha Dora so much, and you fight so hard for her. I love it. But I think they need us because I feel like we would at least like mush storylines and do a bunch of, I don't know. I think we would help a lot.
That was so funny. That was so funny.
I knew you would laugh at that. You're welcome.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think sometimes and we talked about it before, but they put belts on people so that they have belts when they're on Dynamite and Collision and Rampage, such as Jay White and Bullet Club Gold. And it's like, this would be a great time to just have these. And granted, I'm not talking about tonight because I understand we talked about this the last time, like the show after a pay-per-view, they have like a hangover and it's always, it's mostly people that were not on the show. It's mostly people that, there's no storytelling tonight. Most of tonight's matches were just kind of, a few wrestlers that they wanted to highlight in squash matches. It is what it is. This is the night after their pay-per-views, and that's how they do it. So I give them the pass. But in from now on, like once again, just on an every week thing, you gotta try. If you're gonna make money talent like Jay White and the Young Guns, or the Gun Club,
you're welcome.
Your trios champions, you got to understand that there are going to be people that when they tune in ROH every week, when they pay their fee every month, they're going to want to see these guys. Like,
yeah,
when
of course. Like, oh, this person's an ROH champ. They'll definitely be on the show, so I have to go. Like, come on.
Nope, doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. It's so disappointing. It's very upsetting.
Yeah, we did get a little bit of advancement from Dalton Castle tonight, but he defeated Johnny TV in a match without honor. He right before he came out, I remember texting you, I was like, watch him come out with like 10 boys. He came out with 6, but by the end of the night, I think he had like 8 because we got Cartwheel Boy came out, and then we got Paul Walter Hauser Boy. Paul Walter Hauser Boy. So a lot
Stingray
of boys.
Boy.
He's got all the boys. And then we did see a backstage segment where he was interviewed by his bestie, Lexi Nair. All the boys in tow, including Paul Walter Hauser Boy. And actually, no, I guess he had taken his mask off. So he was just Paul Walter Hauser again. First off, can we talk? I'm so delighted to see the celebrity explosion that has been Paul Walter Hauser.
And then they keep bringing up that he's an Emmy winner.
They don't bring up the Golden Globe anymore. They used to bring up the Golden Globe all the time. Now he's won an Emmy. They just don't care.
Yeah. No, yeah, I love this. I love the rise of Stingray. I remember when we were doing our when we do our Cobra Kai recap, we were big fans of Stingray. You especially. We were big fans of Stingray. So it's fun to see him on here. He was saying some funny stuff. Like usually Dalton is the really funny one of this. When he was like, "You sent me he said, "You sent me a text message. Come hang out with me and a bunch of boys." I deleted that text message.
Yeah, he's like, you don't know how that can look if somebody else gets a hand on it. Yeah. And he was like, "I said I'd show you a good time too."
And when he said, "Are all of them?
Are the boys orphans?" I'm getting an orphan vibe. Like I was like, bro.
I hope that was ad-lib because it was so funny.
Yeah, I mean, he's got amazing comedic timing. You know, the first time I ever saw him was not actually on Cobra Kai. It was on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Who is he on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Do you remember the episode where they showed oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking. What's the buddy cop movie that they made a version of?
I forgot.
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon, yes.
So they made Lethal Weapon 4 or 5 or something. And he's the juggalo in the school that Charlie decides to take under his wing as the janitor.
Oh my god, I
and bring to the bar.
That.
And like he has one of my favorite ad-lib lines on the fucking on the entire series, really, where it's like Charlie's like, "Oh, Lethal Weapon 5, you're gonna love this one." He's like, "Yeah, but I didn't see the others though." And just that line gets me every fucking time. And once again, man. from Juggalo to Stingray to Emmys, and just he's
to boys to be in one of Dalton's boys.
That's right. And listen, I don't know if he's done. He's been wrestling a lot, doing indie stuff. We saw the shirt he revealed on Supercard of Honor promoting his match with Cardona that already happened. He said in this segment, in this interview, that I think you guys, we are the TV that this company's been needing, and you're looking for a couple of TV champions. You got them right here. I don't know if that was just a line put in, so maybe Dalton Castle might be Kyle Fletcher's next challenger, TV champion. Maybe that's where this goes. I don't know if maybe Paul Walterhauser wants some tag team gold, and maybe him and Dalton are gonna be going for the tag team gold. I don't know, but maybe. I'm excited to see where this goes. Paul Walterhauser is welcome. Every wrestling company, I think, will be lucky to have him. And he's been on AEW before and now Ring of Honor. So fun times for the boys. Cartwheel Boy was a fun surprise also.
Yeah, that was fun. I thought all that. I thought the boys stuff was fun. Like I enjoyed it a lot. And Dalton got his mojo back.
It's interesting to see. This is where they're taking Dalton Castle. It is sad, but I mean, I think we knew Dalton was going to be fine no matter what. It was just more of a matter of, are we getting a new page turned? Are we seeing what boyless Dalton Castle would be like? Are we getting character tweaks? But I think he's not done with Peacock Power. So right now, what's better than two boys? As many boys as he can find. And so
that's weird.
Dalton Castle's Listen, I think that's what's happening. I'm just saying, like, I think we're gonna see maybe Righteous Boys we see at some point. You know,
don't get me started.
Like that could happen.
I love the Righteous.
That could totally happen. I know you love the Righteous, and you got them tonight, beating Bryce Donovan and Chico Adams.
I wanna bring up something that I like very much that ROH does.
Okay.
The commentary specifically, Bryce Donovan, Chico Adams. I like that they did this also with the Shane Taylor match with Kaz Jordan and Julian Ward. I like that they say who they were trained by. I like that a lot. I like that they brought up like Lance Storm, and they bring up like all the other guys. Like, well, obviously we'll get into the Shane Taylor match, but I like that they bring up that they were trained. Like they were like, oh, he was trained under Sean Spears. He was trained under Tyler Breeze. This one was trained under Lance. I like that. Like, if you're not going to give them an entrance, like, get them hyped up. Be like, these guys were trained under people you know. That way you hear Tyler Breeze, you hear Lance Storm, you hear these names, and you're like, oh, they were trained by them. So I like very much that commentary tries to make them important and not just like a squash, like, oh, this is a local talent that's like whatever.
I mean, the majority of the commentary we see as wrestling fans is more on the sports entertainment side, where a lot of what you're talking about is telling us stories, whether it's the stories that reminding us about the feud going on in the ring, or even telling us about another story that's happening in the show. So we forget that, like, commentary is also supposed to educate you about the certain wrestlers. They 100%. Are supposed to know where they trained, what championships they've held in their independent career, this and that. So I do love that the commentary team goes out of their way to educate the live viewers watching from home. So that, because the truth is, there are certain indie wrestlers or local talent, rather, where as soon as you see them have a squash match or whatever, in the middle of it, you might start looking up their name. You might like something they do. London Lightning, for instance. You know, once I hear the name London Lightning, you see them, you're just kind of like, okay, let me search up London Lightning. Let me see what's up. Let me
check them out. Yeah.
So I love that, like, if they do tell me something like, oh, yeah, he trained with Lance Storm, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let me go ahead and look up this guy and see what else he did. Look up some highlight reels, look up some matches on YouTube.
I'm a big fan of
that. Next thing you know, Caprice or Riccaboni, they've created fans for these talent, even if we never 100%. See them on Ring of Honor television again.
100%. You could be like, oh, that was the guy that was trained. That was the guy that was trained by Lance Storm that was on ROH recently, because you remember the name.
See, you know what's funny? When Anna Jay had her match today with LMK, the banners read LMK. So the first thing I did was like, oh, that's badass. Like, and she looks like very young, small girl. So it's kind of like, okay, but she's just LMK. That's badass. Let me look up who she is and what it stands for. And first thing I see, LMK stands for Little Mean Kathleen. And commentary did let us know that as well. But once again, like, just very quick, from the introduction to me for LMK, I'm like, okay, let me learn more about LMK. Let me see where she's.
I think that's commentary. That's commentary's job, and I think these guys have been doing. They've been doing really well, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like that we got Anna Jay here. Anna Jay is someone I've been saying should be built up in Ring of Honor, either as a contender for one of their women's championships, or just somebody who has a lot to give both in the ring and on the character side, where we talk all the time about how we like feuds to be away from the belt. Anna Jay can deliver in that. If you gave her somebody and you wanted to have a feud with, Anna Jay could do that. Somebody else always capable of doing that we saw tonight is Nyla Rose. She beat Kat Von Hees. Kat Von Hees was noticeably, commentary did bring this up, Kat Von Hees is one of the few people we've seen face Nyla Rose that is a similar body type. Nyla Rose didn't necessarily have a size advantage.
Great name, too. Great name. Kat Von Hees, great name. I was immediately
the name that would make me want to Google. Exactly, yeah. I looked her up immediately as well. So, but commentary did mention, like, listen, we talk all like, would Nyla Rose be as dominating if she didn't have the size advantage? We're seeing it now, Riccaboni. Like, we're seeing it now because she doesn't have a size advantage here. They're mano-a-mano, and Nyla Rose still was able to be very dominant.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Once again, I don't know if she's face or heel. She was a little heelish tonight. I thought past few times we get babyface Nyla. She's a total tweener.
She's a tweener. She's whatever she wants
to
be.
She needs a wrestling outfit that says wrestling outfit on it.
She's chaotic good.
Chaotic good sounds like the name of an indie wrestler.
That's D&D. D&D is chaotic good. I'm usually chaotic good when I play D&D. She probably get that reference because Nyla Rose plays D&D. Yeah. She's chaotic good. Which she kind of doesn't.
See, I would play Dungeons and Dragons if Nyla Rose was playing, because I'd be like, all right, this is
my friend has played it with her.
Type of shit.
My friend has played it with her. Like, there was like
that's cool.
I forgot what the situation was, and I don't know all the details to be too into it, but they had to bring my friend my friend was on the brink of death. The character, obviously, and Nyla Rose's character had to kiss him, and the way he was bent, she had to kiss his butt. And by kissing his butt to heal him, it brought him back to life. So he's always like,
who comes up with these rules?
Well, he was bent over. It's the way he rolled, man.
Oh,
so I always thought that was a fun little thing. So he's always like, Nyla Rose kissed my butt.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's an amazing story.
Saved his life. Yeah. Because she did like a D&D podcast for a while.
I would put that on a t-shirt. Now the rose kissed my butt.
She'd love it. She'd tweet something really
D&D
funny.
2024.
Yeah. Well, it was probably 2021.
Oh, wow. So this was a while ago. He's had years of being able to brag about the butt kissing.
100%. 100%.
I think Cole Carter has little bragging rights. He can brag about the ass kicking he got tonight from Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels, of course, being the Ring of Honor legend he is. It did seem like this match, and we saw Cole Carter and Griff Garrison get a win in their 0 hour match. But this week, tonight, Cole Carter by himself. Griff Garrison nowhere to be found. Maria nowhere to be found. Cole Carter does not get the win, but Christopher Daniels did. He did seem to get Christopher Daniels respect.
Dude, Christopher Daniels is so good. That man's like 56, and he's so good. Like, you talk about a vet in the wrestling industry. This man is a vet. I love seeing him. He doesn't look like an old timer winded to me. Like, you watch him, and he's just so good. And you know, like, he's there to help Cole Carter progress and become a better wrestler. He's so freaking good. Love Christopher Daniels.
So good. And I like how, you know, it started with the I know you hate it, but sometimes the the handshake, it can be used properly. And I think the fact that after they did it initially, then during the match, Christopher Daniels shook his hand again. It's like, okay. And once again, like being in a, for lack of a better term, a chicken shit heel tag team, where you're relying on your mommy to help you, it doesn't always give Cole Carter the chance to shine on his own.
Right.
And so I did like that Griff wasn't at ringside. There's a rare time where I actually enjoyed the fact that the tag team partner wasn't there. I liked that all eyes were on Cole Carter. I liked that he had one of the better in-ring partners possible to work with in Christopher Daniels. And I think this match really did do wonders for both. I think I said, I don't know if it was last week or a week ago or like 2 weeks ago, that I thought Christopher Daniels should start getting built up as a singles guy again, so that when somebody does beat him, it means something. Or even when someone
100%.
faces him, it means something.
100%.
And so it seems like, hopefully, it seems like tonight's a good sign that we're getting some of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a fun one though. Tonight also we saw Saraya's brother, Zach Knight. Zach Zodiac is back.
This made me laugh so much. I don't think the crowd likes Zach. They were all for Alvin Alvarez, like all for
I was gonna mention that, and I looked. Maybe Alvarez is who I was thinking of, because I looked up where he was from, because I wanted to see if he was a local talent. He's from New York, so I don't know.
I feel like we've seen him
just
before.
Something
you know
about
when you
him.
like forget,
right,
the crowd was totally hot for him. He was like getting a lot of offense. He was like toe forward. They were like cheering him. That like, I kind of like that. I don't know if this was planned, but I kind of like that Zach gave him a little bit of time to get the crowd. It like he got.
You're talking about that suplex spot, right?
Right, and he kind of paused it a little bit, and then Zach went in for the pin. So I like that a lot.
Well, and I love that about what I loved about that spot was the fact that like he did have that time, got them super over, knowing full well he wasn't hitting the move. Like he hit very little offense in this, yet somehow it felt like there were so many times where he was able to get the crowd behind him, not just when he was on his ass, but like he'd be able to like do something, create a little spacing, and then the crowd would get to clapping. I can't remember the last time I saw a jobber get this over that quick.
Oh my God.
There's something about him.
They were chanting Alvin. Like they were chanting for this guy. And I don't know. And I don't want to take away from him, but I don't know if it's because maybe they don't like Zach Knight. But I think I'm hoping it was just because Alvin Alvarez is good and like people love him. But the crowd was behind him. It was crazy.
Like I think Zach Knight gets decent heat. You know, he gets booed. I don't necessarily know that Zach Knight is so hated that whoever he's facing means you're just gonna love him the way that Alvin Alvarez was getting loved tonight. I'd love to see him in a match where he was allowed to be a little bit more competitive, because we saw, like I said, they got behind him and he did very little. Like, we didn't really get to see what he can do other than possibly us seeing that he has the it factor, because his charisma seemed to be contagious. And I think that's really what we were witnessing.
Yeah, it was really wild. Yeah, I thought it was really awesome. Like, I was really for this match. I was kind of invested in this match, even though it didn't last that long. I was invested in Alvin too. And that's, again, like we were talking about, it makes me want to look him up immediately and check on, you know, and like check him out and be like, hey, where's this guy from? Where were they filming that he was this? And, you know, like all that stuff.
Yeah, he's only like held championships in a company in New York. I forget the name off the top of my head right now. But so I believe this episode, or at least this match, this portion of the episode was shot, I think, Massachusetts. So not really a local talent. Not sure how they got their hands on him. Maybe he's touring with them for a bit, which would actually be great, because maybe we get to see him next week or, you know, another week. I'd love to see them use more of him, and I'd love to see you know, like what Alvin Evers really brings to the table, because I was just, the fact that like the crowd was so into him really just intrigued me and made me want to get behind him too. Speaking of get behind him, Josh Woods, another guy we saw in 0 Hour. The Premier Athletes got a tag team win, but Josh Woods got his own hype video tonight. Smart Mark Sterling giving a little hype to Josh Woods. It did end with like the Premier Athletes logo. So I don't think we should take this as a sign that he's going solo. I'm kind of wondering if maybe we're going to see a Tony Nese video that's very similar to this, with Smart Mark Sterling kind of doing the voiceover again for him. That to me is very intriguing. I like that aspect of using Ring of Honor to kind of show vignettes for people that we might be seeing more of. They don't really do that enough, I think, but I did like that we got that here.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I was a little confused on what was happening, and I was like, "Oh, I understand now." So this makes a lot more sense. Because at first I was like, I don't really know what's happening, but I was for it.
Yeah. I was also for, I believe it was the opening we got tonight. And it was Action Andrade and Isaiah Cassidy. Isaiah Cassidy has always struck me as, Isaiah Cassidy's always been like the standout of Private Party. Granted, I've seen the most of him because his partner was injured for so long, but nonetheless, he's always a party starter when it comes to wrestling. And Action Andrade, we don't see enough of him by himself since they've been teaming him with Top Flight. So I did enjoy getting to see these two to mix it up.
I will say, watching this match, I was like, I always forget how much I enjoy Private Party and how much I like them. Because I feel like I don't, I forget sometimes. And then they came and I was like, now I remember Private Party and why I like them so much. And yeah, Action Andrade is just, we've been seeing him weekly and I love everything about this. So I thought this was a really fun match. When I was watching originally, I was like, oh man, Private Party. I was like, I feel like I haven't seen them in such a long time. And I always get confused to see if they are ROH talent or AEW, or they're a bounce around too. So it was nice. It was also nice seeing some one-on-one action, because a lot of times we see, you know, Private Party always in a tag, and then Andrade, like you said, ever since he came back, he's been in with Top Flight, so we never really get to see them. So it was nice to see a singles match for a change.
Yeah, and Isaiah Cassidy is a fun heel.
Yeah, like, really fun heel.
He really has, And it's funny, like I've always said, I think Action Andrade's got some heel in him also, but this was fun because we were able to kind of see that babyface in him, you know, because he made a great foil for everything Cassidy was bringing to the table.
100%.
I loved the finish. Where it looked like he was going for a top rope side effect, and instead Action counters it by doing a backflip, and then they go into the finish that way. That was great. That's how you get eyes on you. That's how you steal a show. Once again, as I did mention, tonight's going to be more of the ROH hangover show. They're not giving it all when it comes to, you know, what your normal ROH is, but Action Andrade and Isaiah Cassidy were definitely able to put their stamp on tonight's
I hope we see more Private Party in ROH.
Definitely.
Because they're definitely a team I would like to watch every week.
Yeah, me too. Me too. They would do great in the Ring of Honor. Athena, the forever women's champion, she put her stamp on Supercard of Honor when she did defeat Hikaru Shida. This was a banger, as we knew it was going to be.
Oh, of course.
But Billy Stark's new mom retains her throne, keeps control of the minions. Minion or warlord, she will always be.
What a fun match.
This match was killer.
Match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheeta, she is another one. Oh, so good.
100%.
Yeah.
They gave us great highlights of this too, where like I would have liked to see a little bit more. We kind of only saw Athena in the Billy Starks package. Once get it. So that's what I want to see from now on. I'd love to see it if Sheeta didn't just disappear from Ring of Honor because this feud's over. I don't know if maybe this feud continues, if Sheeta maybe comes back and says, listen, you beat me, but don't forget, I beat you too. That's 1-1. And she could use that as a way to maybe get another one, get a rubber match out of it.
100%.
So that'd be fun. Once again, we love feuds. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for stories.
That's what we want. We want storyline feuds.
And as you said, like with the tag team, where like that feud was at a boiling point after 24 hours, according to commentary, where like this one was also kind of short. Athena was basically asking for a challenge like a week before the event and then get surprised with Sheeta. So it seems like there's still more story to be told. Just because you don't have another pay-per-view lined up for a minute doesn't mean that we can explore this some more.
Right.
So
give me storylines, please, and
they do that.
100%.
Yeah. Eddie and Mark Briscoe tore it down. Mark Briscoe, I don't know how he can see. That was
so much blood.
Yeah.
So much blood. So I will let my 2-minute rule title change thing slide for this because it was only 50 seconds and it was his dad. So that is okay that he ran in the ring and hugged him. I will allow it. He could have gave him a little more time, but I'll allow it.
I mean, and everybody was in there.
It's okay because my big thing is like the picture. So like when they hoisted him up, now he's by himself and they could get that good picture of him like by himself holding the belt. So that's okay. So I'll allow it. I shall allow it. I'll allow it. Cody Rhodes, different
glad
story.
You're allowing it.
Cody Rhodes, different story. 46 seconds. 46 seconds. Heel. Anyway, 50 seconds. So it's okay.
No, this was a fun one. This was hard hitting. This was one where we knew exactly what it was going to be. We weren't getting chain wrestling. We were going to get two
lots of blood.
Bloody men. Yeah, exactly. Beating the piss out of each other. And then hugging and drinking afterwards was exactly what we saw videotape of tonight.
I told you he wasn't sober.
Well, no, he was talking about sobriety. I was going to say, I'm assuming those are non-alcoholic because he was talking about his sobriety in his program. He was like literally saying, he was like, I can't lose to you for my sobriety. Please don't tell me that's what we were witnessing. He lost. He's like, all right, fuck it. Give me a beer. I don't give a shit.
So wait, they're non-alcoholic. So if you drink enough, you get really fucked up?
No, that's not how that works.
Oh, it's from Wolf of Wall Street. Remember when he's drinking the beer and Jonah Hill's like, oh, so if you drink enough, you get fucked up? And he's like, no, they're not alcoholic. There's no alcohol. I'm not understanding. What do you mean?
That's such a
that was so they were like goofy little kids after. They were just like, yeah, we just beat each other up. Hee. Like they were all giggling.
Because you know what it was? Because they were selling their match. Because they're talking about their match. They got a match with House of Black. And I enjoyed actually the idea that any tag team could fucking hurt them was funny to the point where they were just literally giggling about it because they're like, do you see what we just did to each other? We like each other. I love this man. I don't even fucking like you. What are we going to do to you? Like,
I was trying to understand what they were saying. It was very hard to understand because they were like babbling and giggling like schoolgirls. And I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. He's trying to communicate. No. I know he is.
No, I speak drunk hooligan, so I understood it perfectly.
Like now they're drunk. I'm so confused. Are they drunk or are they not drunk?
They talk drunk hooligan. They don't have to be drunk. That's why you say Eddie Kingston always sounds drunk. He speaks drunk hooligan. It's a language.
So Eddie Kingston is just a non-drunk hooligan.
It's like pig Latin, exactly. So, but yeah, I to be honest, I enjoyed because I don't recall ever actually seeing a situation like this where you see two people beat the shit out of each other, and then in a video segment that is essentially minutes after that beating has happened, they're now talking about the tag team match that they will be competing in.
This is the
on the same side, and just flat out being like, "Do you see what we?" And it's like the argument could easily be made that I see you guys look like you could barely make it to fucking our tag team match, so obviously we're gonna beat the shit out of you. This guy's got blood coming out of his eyes. You got both your shoulders taped up, but Eddie Kingston and Briscoe didn't even give us a chance to come up with that notion. They immediately sell it as in like, listen, we said we was going to beat each other up. We did it. We did a good job, right?
Yay.
And listen,
what
I did to him, I'm going to do 5 times to you. Yeah, so I dig it personally. I think it's fun.
Yeah, it was fine. I wasn't upset with it.
Also, yeah. I'm curious to see. It'd be nice if that match was happening on Ring of Honor television, but I'm pretty sure it's not. So
bye championship again. Bye.
Yeah,
I mean, like 2 belts. We have 3 belts on this thing.
Mark Briscoe, I have more hope for that. I feel like we could see him pop up in Ring of Honor a bit more than Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston was the Triple Crown champion when that was happening. Hopefully, since Mark Briscoe only has the Ring of Honor championship that he's responsible for holding right now, hopefully he gets his ass to Ring of Honor every week. Please and thank you.
Please and thank you.
That role used to be filled by Kyle Fletcher, and it does seem like he's back in business. Kyle Fletcher did defeat Lee Johnson at Supercard of Honor. This was a banger. These guys killed it. Kyle Fletcher, as they're saying, Lee Johnson took him to the limit, but Kyle Fletcher did not go down swinging. He kicked in the door, waving the 4-4, and he is still our ROH TV champion.
Okay, so we're talking about this.
We heard from both these men tonight. What'd you say?
Yeah. I said, okay, so we're talking about this match first because I wanted to get my negative out before I start talking about this match. But okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk about this. No, we'll talk about this.
What do you want to talk? What do you talk? Spit, woman.
No, I was going to talk about the match he had tonight before I talked about the match with Lee Johnson because I wanted to end on a high note.
Okay. Well, since you gone and said that and made it really awkward, talk about
I didn't make it
match.
awkward. I'm just like
ROH. Dude, don't let me know that you want to talk about something that you're not going to talk about something.
All right, so let me tell you about how annoyed I was at this match. I'm going to tell you why I was annoyed. So, Rhett Titus doesn't get an entrance, correct? No entrance. No thing. This man is a previous ROH TV champion and a 2-time ROH tag champion. So how do you not give them an entrance and make it like, oh, it's a squash match? And it's like, but why would it be a squash match if this man is an ROH and he's not just a local talent? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Hello, are you
Was that it? That was the negative?
Yeah, that was pretty much my negative. I just thought I don't know because at first I was like, why are you having local? I was like, why are you already having Kyle Fletcher go against local talent or a jobber?
Okay, we could easily still finish with this fucking match, the main event, if that was the only negative you had.
I wanted to get it out of the way. I just wanted to get it out of the way.
I thought you were about to say that this whole match sucked or some shit. Like you were. No. You made it sound like this was garbage.
No, I just wanted to get this out of the way because I want to end on a nice.
No, you know me. I hate the fact that they don't give Rhett Titus an entrance. This guy is a former TV champion. How often do we see Kyle Fletcher in the ring with former TV champions? It doesn't happen very often.
He's an ROH world champion and a two-time tag champion with Kenny King and friggin' Hot Sauce. Like, what are we doing here? That annoyed me very much.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you're giving anyone the main event it should be a match. Like, they should get an entrance. You've sold us before about the fact that being in the main event means you're close to a title shot. You're close to this. Proving ground, argument could always be made that Rhett Titus deserved more than a proving ground match, and it could have just been a TV title match. If you're going to make it a proving ground, you've got to sell me on the babyface story. You've got to sell me on the fact that Rhett Titus may win this, and even if he doesn't, that Rhett Titus can last 10 minutes with Kyle Fletcher.
But that's
and without giving us an entrance, you've lost it.
Yeah,
you take away that babyface story.
No entrance, but all of a sudden I hear commentary saying, "Oh, he was a previous world TV champion," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I looked it up, and I'm like, "Wait, he's not a jobber. This is an ROH talent who's had multiple championships. This is bullshit." But I won't take away.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I think Rhett Titus we just haven't seen in a while, so this is kind of them introducing him back into the fold. But no, I agree. They could have definitely presented him in a better way. We've seen a kind of back and forth story with Christopher Daniels, not always being on that particular line. So hopefully Rhett Titus, they get back on track with how they present him. Because I agree with you. He deserves an entrance. He deserves to be presented as somebody who should be able to last and take Kyle Fletcher to the limit. Speaking of Kyle Fletcher to the limit, back to the Supercard of Honor match. Yeah. With Kyle Fletcher defeating Lee Johnson. As they put it tonight, Lee Johnson did take Kyle Fletcher to the limit. We got to hear from Lee Johnson in an interview. Lexi did describe this as a star-making performance for Lee Johnson. Johnson said it feels good. He's been waiting so long to have a match like that. Didn't get the victory, but he definitely didn't lose. So it seems like he's not putting too much attention on the fact that his winning streak is now kaputnik. That his comments seem very genuine to me, because the truth is, in his push, we haven't really seen him get to go out and actually have like a back and forth match for 15, 17, 20 minutes where people could be talking about how many stars you want to give it. This was a star-making match for Lee Johnson. I do think this match should put him on the map, so to speak, and put him in line for more opportunities.
Absolutely. And I like that when Kyle Fletcher had a little video package, a little backstage thing, that he explained why he hasn't been there. He's like, I had green card issues. I've been here weekly. I'm constantly here, but then I just had I had visa issues.
And I like that he didn't just like say it to say it, but he went ahead and made it make sense in the context of his promo, where he's like, "Listen, I know I said you're not on my level, and I still think you're not on my level, but you're a little closer on my level than I thought you were."
Oh my God, I put that in my notes.
Me and you, I was like, and listen, between me and you, it wasn't personal until you started insinuating that I didn't want to come to work. Like I wanted to stay home. Yeah. And then, so now he's not just making an announcement to the public, "Hey, by the way, your TV champion's back because I had these issues." He's like, "No, how dare you insinuate that I don't want to come to work? I am this company. I am this show. I was kicked out of the country, but I'm back now. So nobody can touch me." You know what I mean? So I absolutely love it. And I love, and this is what you don't hear wrestlers say too often. So I think that's why when you do hear a wrestler, and he's in the perfect position to say it, but when they say that I hope to be the greatest of all time one day, so many times you hear like, and MJF comes to mind, but like MJF was probably on TV for like a year when he started calling himself like the best of all time, the greatest to do it, all that kind of stuff. A lot of times, especially with heels, it's just second nature. You can say you're the best, and it's no problem at all. Max Caster, I think one of his Instagram handles is like best wrestler alive. You know what I mean? So anyone can say it, and most people do. But the fact that Kyle Fletcher is being very realistic with it, like, I am on the path to being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time one day. And right now you're on my journey. So buckle up. Like, I love that. It makes it so more important.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I put in my notes, not on my level, but you're closer than I thought. Absolutely love that. It came from the heart. And what I like too is like, even us, when we always complain about the champs never being there, and we were like, Kyle Fletcher. And then when he just wasn't there, we were like, oh, there we go with ROH. But then when we found out it was visa issues, we're like, okay, that makes a little more sense. Now we know where he was, because we were like, oh, I have to say there's things about this match, like the 19-second count when they were doing the 20 seconds, they both jumped back in the ring at 19 seconds. Like, it was perfectly done. I thought that was fantastic.
Lee Johnson slamming Kyle Fletcher on like the hardest part of the ring. I mean, he slammed him on that ring. This was probably my second favorite match. Lee's frog splash was amazing. I did love when Kyle Fletcher won, and then he turned shy and he's like, "Now get the fuck out of my ring." I love that part. That
he shook his hand. He's like,
"Yeah."
He shook his hand. He's like, "You did it. Good job. Now get the fuck out." Yeah, that was fantastic.
It was perfect because it was just heelish enough to be a heel, but it wasn't like it was like, "Not you proved your point." He was just being legit. He's like, "This is my ring." Yeah,
it was true to form. I like it. Like to me, it's almost a humanizing moment because that shit's real. Where it's like if Kyle Fletcher is kind of an arrogant prick, he's saying you're not on my level, but you take him to the limit. Okay, he will acknowledge it. He's not gonna be like nobody's on my level. You know what? Good job, bro. You proved something to me because I expected less. But now you can get the fuck out.
Yeah, it was so perfect. It was so well done when he said that. Now get the fuck out. I just was like, this is amazing. This is perfect. I was like, this is the champ that I want on my show every week.
Right. And we were, before his visa issues happening, we really were like every week talking about how great it is to have Kyle Fletcher because you don't know what 100%. Champions are showing up. But here he is defending his title, doing this, doing that. Now I've got one question, and it is, where is Ethan Page? Like, can we get Ethan Page back to finish that story, please? Because you were telling us a story. Your story was supposed to end with you winning a championship. Yeah,
I was waiting for him to come out as they were shaking hands. I was like, okay, Ethan, here's your time. Come on, let's go. Where are you?
Yeah,
where are you?
I'm really hoping they get him back because that TV title story is the one I'd love to see. But I did mention earlier that Paul Walter Hauser did refer to himself and Dalton Castle as TV champions. Dalton Castle looked like a light bulb hit right above his head. So I think Dalton Castle, if I had to make a guess right now, I'd say Dalton Castle might be going after Johnny. TV comes the TV champion. So I think that might be what happens with Dalton Castle. We will have to wait and see. Nothing left to do but wait and see. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Joining us tonight, joining us every single Thursday night. You know, when Ring of Honor ends, Mark of Honor begins. Once again, go to slamchats.com and support the entire network that is bodyslam.net. At the Heel Marks is where you can follow us. At the Heel Marks is where you check us out every single week. You guys are the best, and we are just trying to be like you. We are not just smart marks, guys.